Welcome back to Time with God series, Joyce Meyer's Everyday Life Bible Journey for busy moms, busy people. I'm WendyMichelle Thompson. We're getting very close to finishing Leviticus. We are in chapter 25 today. This one's a little bit long. I hope you have something to drink and that you're comfy. The Lord said to Moses on Mount Sinai, "Say to the Israelites, when you come into the land which I give you, then shall the land keep a Sabbath to the Lord. For 6 years you shall sow your field, and for 6 years you shall prune your vineyard and gather in its fruits. But in the 7th year there shall be a Sabbath, a solemn rest for the land, a Sabbath to the Lord. You shall neither sow your field nor prune your vineyard." Verse 5. What grows of itself in your harvest you shall not reap, and the grapes on your uncultivated vine you shall not gather, for it is a year of rest to the land. And the Sabbath rest of the untilled land shall, in its increase, furnish food for you, for your male and female servants, your hired servant, and the temporary resident who lives with you, for your domestic animals also, and for the wild beast in your land. All its yield shall be for food. And you shall number 7 Sabbaths or weeks of years for you, 7 times 7 years. So the total time of the 7 weeks of years shall be 49 years. Then you shall sound abroad the loud trumpet on the 10th day of the 7th month, almost October. On the Day of Atonement, blow the trumpet in all your land. Verse 10. And you shall hallow the 50th year and proclaim liberty throughout all the land to all its inhabitants. It shall be a jubilee for you, and each of you shall return to his ancestral possession, which through poverty he was compelled to sell. And each of you shall return to his family from whom he was separated in bond service. That 50th year shall be a jubilee for you. In it you shall not sow or reap and store what grows of itself, or gather the grapes of the uncultivated vines. For it is a jubilee, it shall be holy to you. You shall eat the sufficient increase of it out of the field. In this year of Jubilee, each of you shall return to his ancestral property. And if you sell anything to your neighbor or buy from your neighbor, you shall not wrong one another. Verse 15. According to the number of years after the Jubilee, you shall buy from your neighbor, and he shall sell to you according to the number of years remaining in which you may gather the crops before you must restore the property to him. In the years to the next Jubilee are many. You may increase the price, and if the years remaining are few, you shall diminish the price. For the number of the crops is what he is selling to you. You shall not oppress and wrong one another, but you shall reverently fear your God. For I am the Lord your God. Therefore you shall do and give effect to my statutes, and keep my ordinances, and perform them, and you will dwell in the land in safety. The land shall yield its fruit. You shall eat your fill and dwell there in safety. verse 20. And if you say, what shall we eat in the 7th year, if we are not to sow or gather in our increase? Then this is my answer. I will command my special blessings on you in the 6th year, so that it shall bring forth sufficient fruit for 3 years. And you shall sow in the 8th year, but eat of the old store of produce until the crops of the 9th year come in. You shall eat of the old supply. The land shall not be sold into perpetual ownership, for the land is mine. You are only strangers and temporary residents with me. And in all the country you possess, you shall grant a redemption for the land in the year of Jubilee. Verse 25. If your brother has become poor and has sold some of his property, if any of his kin comes to redeem it, he shall be allowed to redeem what his brother has sold. And if the man has no one to redeem his property, and he himself has become more prosperous and has enough to redeem it, then let him count the years since he sold it and restore the overpayment to the man to whom he sold it and return to his ancestral possession. But if he is unable to redeem it, it shall remain in the buyer's possession until the year of Jubilee, when it shall be set free and he may return to it. If a man sells a dwelling's house in a fortified city, he may redeem it in a whole year after it is sold. For a full year, he may have the right of redemption. Verse 30. And if it is not redeemed within a full year, then the house that is in the fortified city shall be made sure, permanently and without limitations, for him who bought it throughout his generations. It shall not go free in the year of Jubilee. But the houses of the unwalled, is that what it says? Of the unwalled villages shall be counted with the fields of the country. They may be redeemed, and they shall go free in the year of Jubilee. Nevertheless, the cities of the Levites, the houses in the cities of their possessions, the Levites may redeem at any time. But if a house is not redeemed by a Levite, the sold house in the city they possess shall go free in the year of Jubilee, for the houses in the Levite cities are their ancestral possession among the Israelites. But the field of unenclosed or pasture lands of their cities may not be sold. It is their perpetual possession. Verse 35. And if your Israelite brother has become poor, and his hand wavers from poverty, sickness, or age, and he is unable to support himself, then you shall uphold, strengthen, relieve him, treating him with the courtesy and consideration that you would a stranger or a temporary resident with you without property, so that he may live along with you. Charge him no interest or portion of increase, but fear your God, so your brother may continue to live along with you. You shall not give him your money at interest, nor lend him food at a profit. I am the Lord your God, who brought you forth out of the land of Egypt, to give you the land of Canaan, and to be your God. And if your brother becomes poor beside you, and sells himself to you, You shall not compel him to serve as a bondsman, a slave, not eligible for redemption. Verse 40. But as a hired servant and as a temporary resident, he shall be with you. He shall serve you till the year of Jubilee, and then he shall depart from you, he and his children with him, and shall go back to his own family and return to the possession of his fathers. For the Israelites are my servants. I brought them out of the land of Egypt. They shall not be sold as bondsmen. You shall not rule over him with harshness, severity, oppression, but you shall reverently fear your God. As for your bondsmen and your bondsmaids, whom you may have, they shall be from the nations round about you, of whom you may buy bondmen and bondmaids. Verse 45. Moreover, of the children of the strangers who sojourn among you, of them you may buy, and of their families that are with you, which they have begotten in your land, and they shall be your possession. And you shall make them an inheritance for your children after you, to hold for a possession of them shall you take your bondsmen always. But over your brethren, the Israelites, you shall not rule over one another with harshness, severity, oppression. And if a sojourner or stranger with you becomes rich, and your Israelite brother becomes poor beside him, and sells himself to the stranger or sojourner with you, or to a member of the stranger's family, after he is sold, he may be redeemed. One of his brethren may redeem him. Either his uncle or his uncle's son may redeem him, or a near kinsman may redeem him, or if he has enough and is able, he may redeem himself. And the Redeemer, verse 50, shall reckon with the purchaser of the servant from the year whom he sold himself to the purchaser in the year of Jubilee, and the price of his release shall be adjusted according to the number of years. The time he was with his owner shall be counted as that of a hired servant. If there remain many years before the year of Jubilee, in proportion to them, he must refund to the purchaser for his release the overpayment for his acquisition. And if little time remains until the year of Jubilee, he shall count it over with him, and he shall refund the proportionate amount for his release. And as a servant hired year by year, shall he deal with him. He shall not rule over him with harshness, severity, oppression. In your sight, make sure of that. And if he is not redeemed during these years, and by these means, then he shall go free in the year of Jubilee, he and his children with him. Verse 55. For to me the Israelites are servants, my servants, whom I brought forth out of the land of Egypt. I am the Lord your God. And that concludes Leviticus chapter 25. Guys, please subscribe. Hit a like on each chapter. Please comment. I would love to hear your comments. I try to tell you that all the time. Some of you are so good about it, and I just absolutely love hearing your insights, your thoughts. And I do appreciate those that mention anything about any commentary that is mine, of course. If I read anything that Joyce has written outside of scripture, I will always say, this is what Joyce says, not what Wendy says. I will not take her study or her research and claim it as my own. But please hit that bell for notifications and continue along with us. We have two more chapters in Leviticus, and then we hit Numbers, and we are moving right along. Can you believe it, guys? It's just, wow, it's moving really quickly. And I know one thing that I really enjoy about batching my Time with God series, so that, because it's really hard for me to find time to do the makeup, the hair, the lighting, all that extra stuff that takes up extra time, really. But nonetheless, it makes for way better video. I can't do that every day just because of all the responsibilities and different things that I do. But what I love about batching the work, other than that, is continuing to read. I love reading on to the next chapter. And I try to change clothes here and there for you guys. Hopefully you don't get sick of what I'm wearing. But yeah, it's just hard to stop once you get started. I really love reading God's Word. And it's been a while since I had been through Leviticus, for sure. So this is like a really great reminder, a refresher. And every single time, I think God shows us all something new we've never seen before. It was there before, but He shows us something new. And that means that we're growing in Him. And it's exciting to me when I catch something new. And I've been reading the Bible since I was 8 years old. So I just love it. You guys have a great day. God bless your today and all your tomorrows.